Hey, you're watching Rebel Base, IGN's weekly Star Wars show.
So this week, The Hollywood Reporter is reporting that Felicity Jones has been cast in the first Star Wars spin-off.
Yeah, so we've been kind of very focused on episode 7 because it's kind of a big deal. It's coming out this year.
It is.
But it's easy to forget we're getting spin-off movies.
Exactly.
In the in-between years.
3 of them.
So we thought we'd dedicate today's show to talking all about those 3 movies.
Yeah.
We know obviously some things about some of them, absolutely nothing about the other ones, but
That's
we're going to
right.
go through it all and round it all up.
So first then, the third one is going to come out in 2020, and we know basically nothing about
Sod
that
all
one.
about this one.
The second one is coming out in 2018, and that we do know a little bit about.
Yes.
And that's directed by Mr. Josh Trank.
It is for the moment. Like, Josh Trank is attached to that movie. Josh Trank is well known for Chronicle.
Yeah.
And obviously he'll be a bit better known this year once
Yeah.
the Fantastic Four movie comes out. He's directing that
That's
for
right.
Fox.
He's also attached to Fantastic Four 2.
I suppose, like, you get them to sign those deals just in case it's like the biggest movie in the world ever.
Exactly,
and
yeah.
You want them to come back.
But I mean, I'm up for Trank. I think the trailer that we've seen of Fantastic Four was pretty good. Like you said, you guys have made a video about it, how it almost feels like a body horror movie,
Yeah.
and it's going to be quite dark.
It seems like it's quite brave and adventurous to do
Yeah.
that and sell that to Fox as his treatment of Fantastic Four. Fantastic
Exactly,
Four,
yeah.
very bright, colourful,
Yeah.
family-based superheroes. And to go in going, I want to basically make Shivers
Yeah.
and Scanners, but...
He's got
in a-
balls, yeah, he's got balls. But let's focus on the one we do actually know something
Yeah,
about.
otherwise just making stuff up.
Exactly, yeah. And that's the very first spin-off, which is coming out on the 16th of December 2016, a year after Episode 7 opens. Now, it's directed by Gareth Edwards, who has Welsh parents, so already... I'm on
Are you
board.
Welsh?
I don't know if I mentioned it, but I actually am from Wales. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, so he directed Monsters and Godzilla, so he's really, really good at directing small stories with a giant backdrop. I mean, you can't get much bigger than Godzilla, can you?
You
really?
can. Space.
Yeah, exactly.
That's your bigger backdrop. Space.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so what's Monsters? Obviously, I imagine a lot of people have seen Godzilla,
Yeah.
but Monsters was his first movie that
That's
he
right.
kind of like really got recognised for.
And yeah, it's basically a road movie,
Yeah.
but set against this backdrop of these aliens or monsters are attacking Earth. And it's just 2 people on a road trip, and it's about their relationship and, how they interact with each other and things like that, and their relationship as it develops with this giant, horrible thing going on in the background. But I think, Godzilla was criticised quite heavily because Godzilla's barely in it, because he decided to focus on the characters and their relationships, and Godzilla's just off in the background. And I wonder if we can take that to sort of what he's going to be doing, and, he's seeing his spin-off as this little story that's happening, with this giant storyline from, the actual main trilogy going on in the background. We've got a really cool quote from Gareth Edwards, actually. He says, "Ever since I saw Star Wars, I knew exactly what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. Join the Rebel Alliance. I could not be more excited and honored to go on this mission with Lucasfilm." Now, that is just a really, really nice quote.
Yeah.
But is it anything, Daniel, than we can infer from that?
Should we do a close reading?
That's right, yeah. So he says he's always wanted to join the Rebel Alliance, which to me suggests he's making a film about the Rebel Alliance, which fits in with a rumour that came out just before Christmas, I think it is one of our favourite rumours about it. It's just a rumour. What is it?
The rumour is that the movie will approach, it will kind of take place around the same time as the original trilogy.
Yeah.
And it will be about a group of bounty hunters
Yeah.
and people hired guns,
Yeah.
hired by the Rebel Alliance
Yeah.
to steal the plans for the Death Star.
That's why one of the big rumours is that Boba Fett will feature quite heavily.
Very
in it.
prominent character, probably the leader of this kind of Ocean's 11,
God, can you imagine that?
Magnificent Seven, Dirty Dozen kind of task force
That would be
going on
amazing.
this mission. And it kind of ties in with what we were saying up top about these spin-off movies embracing different genres. The original Star Wars embraced kind of samurai movies
Yeah.
and westerns. It feels like this might be doing something similar, but also kind of embracing heist movies.
Exactly, yeah, and I love the idea of it fitting in with the original trilogy like that, because
Yeah.
that's always been one of the big things that if you delve into like Star Wars lore, is how they got the plans for the Death Star in the first place, and I really like that they're sort of filling in these like cool little like blank spots with an entire film.
It's like things that fans of the series have discussed for decades now. It's going to have a definitive answer.
I think that's
which,
amazing.
some people might want it to always like stay this kind of impregnable mystery.
Yeah.
But I think it's really interesting to see it taken on if that's what they're doing.
Exactly, yeah. One of the other rumours is that the Millennium Falcon will be involved, but Han Solo won't feature.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which might account for the fact that it's going to be a period setting, and
That's
obviously
right, yeah.
I'd rather him not appear than we have a CGI Harrison Ford,
don't say that.
Tron Legacy.
Yeah,
I don't want to see that. But I think it'd be really cool to see scenes taking, weaving in and out of, these iconic scenes. And like you're saying, Edwards has, that big stuff going on in the background.
That's right.
Suddenly you might have this scene taking place in the foreground, and some really big iconic moment is kind of sidestepped.
That would be very,
that'd be really interesting.
Okay then, so we've talked about our rumours. Let's talk about casting. So the Hollywood Reporter has gone on record saying that Felicity Jones has been cast.
Okay, so Felicity Jones, British actress,
Yeah.
really well known at the moment for starring in The Theory of Everything.
That's right, yeah.
Alongside Eddie Redmayne.
Yeah.
I kind of know her from the film Cemetery Junction, which is the Ricky Gervais movie he made with Stephen Merchant.
She's actually Oscar nominated for a role in Theory of Everything anyway, so she's doing all right. She's also played Felicia Hardy in The Amazing Spider-Man 2 as well.
Yeah, so that's quite a small role. Obviously, Felicia Hardy goes on to be the Black Cat.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's not going to happen now.
I would have thought it's not going to happen.
It seems like some of those extended Spider-Man universe movies of not maybe happening. So maybe that's why she's got time in her schedule to commit to Star Wars. But there's also another rumour, isn't there?
Yeah.
So
there is, Aaron Paul is apparently rumoured to be taking a role. Imagine Aaron Paul as Boba Fett. I don't know.
That happen?
I don't know, it could do, I guess.
But good voice.
He's got a very good voice.
That's the thing, very distinctive voice, too distinctive.
But those are the big casting rumours around that anyway. But also the script. So we want to talk about the script because that's been quite a public thing as well. So Gary Whitta, who we've just had on the IGN UK podcast, he was attached for a year, then walked away to go into another project. He was replaced by Chris Weitz, who was an Oscar-nominated screenwriter. But we had Gary Whitta on, we spoke to him about his work on Star Wars, and he was really interesting.
I just got done working on what will be one of the new Star Wars films. I worked on it for pretty much an entire year. And as I'm sure you will appreciate, there's very little I'm allowed to say about any of it because they take secrecy very... If you look at, all the secrecy surrounding JJ's film, all of that applies to the one I worked on and to all of them. No, so I worked on it. It was... I will come back here in a couple of years, in December of 2016, when the film is out, and I'll happily tell you all of my stories of adventures in a galaxy far, far away. By far the most... rewarding and fun creative experience I've ever had. Like the 12-year-old kid in me was just losing his shit like the whole time that I was doing it.
Yeah, and I, as a fan, I like the fact that a man who's is one of his favourites, if not his favourite film of all time, is Empire Strikes Back, is writing a Star Wars film. That just sounds good to me.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it was one of those things where you're constantly pinching yourself because, it's true of a whole generation of filmmakers that the original trilogy of those films, I think, inspired, literally, like I said, an entire generation of so many great filmmakers will tell you that Star Wars is the film that made them want to be a filmmaker. It's just this monumental edifice in popular culture. So to get to, contribute a small piece to the legacy of that is just mad. And it was very nerve-wracking, but also just... Like I said, I'll come back another day and I'll tell you. I will tell you stories and show you pictures. I've seen things you people wouldn't believe.
So we've talked about the script, we've talked about the casting, we've talked about our favourite rumours. Let's talk about what we want to see. Like in a perfect world, what would you like to see in the spin-off? Now we've talked about Boba Fett a little bit. Now for me, if Boba Fett's in it and there's a man who's directed giant monster movies, he's got to come in like he comes in the Christmas specials. Like, you're introduced to him on a giant pink dinosaur.
Yeah, so we talked about this when we talked about the Christmas nearly ruined Star Wars a few weeks ago. And it's a brilliant moment.
Yeah.
I think that really... What more effectively conveys that you're a badass than being able to ride a giant pink space dinosaur?
That'd be amazing. He has to be able to do it. Surely that's why they brought Edwards on anyway.
How much FX budget do you need? A lot.
Yeah.
I'll do it myself at weekends.
My other favourite guy as well is Kyle Katarn from the Dark Forces video games. So he is an Imperial soldier who leaves after he finds out the Empire killed his parents. And he sort of is a mercenary for hire. Like, he does a lot of jobs for the Rebel Alliance. Like, he's involved in one of the plots to steal the Death Star's plans. Like, in the very first mission of the game, that's what you do. Like, that's what you're doing. And then, all of it, he's force sensitive. And over the course, he starts to become this, like, quite powerful Jedi mercenary. I'd love to see him in there.
God, you've got it all planned out, haven't you?
I have, yeah.
So what I really want is, we're talking about embracing different genres.
Yeah.
I want them to make a Star Wars horror movie. Yeah. Like, we're talking about that's what Trank's maybe doing with Fantastic Four. I think there's a lot of really scary... What I loved about Star Wars growing up was the monsters. Yeah. I love the Rancor, I love the Wampa, I love the Sarlacc. Yeah. That stuff, I think there's a lot into that. Yeah, and I hope like a director comes along and has that fascination with the kind of the biology and the environments of the Star Wars universe, and will go to new planets and kind of understand more about the universe in which Star Wars is set.
I want that, yeah, that's awesome. Well, that's what we want to see. But what do you want to see? Let us know in the comments below on Twitter or rebelbase@ign.com. IGN.com.
Yeah, and until next week, for everything on Star Wars, stay right here on IGN.